What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. So game week 7 has just finished, and what we're going to do, as it's international break and I know that a lot of you are considering playing your wildcards ahead of game week 8 now that you've got 2 weeks to think about it, I'm going to start the week off with giving you a little bit of a template, a little bit of a team structure to follow if you are making your wildcard for this week. Now I personally don't think I'm going to be activating my wildcard over the international break. Now I could do if I get some injuries, but at the moment it's not going to be activated. But here is going to be a team that I think I would go with if I did activate my wildcard over the international break. So without further ado, let's just dive straight into them. If you do enjoy the video, of course, do consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. So in goal, we start with a duo of 4.5 Ramsdale and Foster. So for me, I've gone with Ramsdale over the likes of Sanchez of Brighton. I think those are the two goalkeepers that I would consider. However, Ramsdale's run of fixtures is slightly easier, and then Foster is the backup as a nice 4 million option, has the best chance of playing out of all of those cheap goalkeepers. So Ramsdale in for Sanchez because that run of fixtures looks good. He's come in and made a big difference to that Arsenal team, who have now conceded just 1 goal in their last 4 matches and keeping 3 clean sheets in that time as well. So I really like the Arsenal defence, and then Foster as the backup, but you will be playing Ramsdale each and every week no matter what the fixture is. If we dive into the defence, the first one we've got is João Cancelo of Manchester City. So Manchester City, before the Liverpool game this is being recorded, have conceded 1 goal so far this season and have kept 5 clean sheets in their last 5 matches. 6.2 million is quite a lot, but he is getting a lot of clean sheets, he's playing a lot of minutes, and he has that attacking threat as well. So he's got 2 assists so far this season, which has got him 12 points each time he's got it, because he gets bonus points on top of the assist points that he's getting. So a really good asset, and I think he will continue to play while Zinchenko is out injured, but also when he comes back, he's in such good form that I just can't see him being dropped from that Manchester City side. Next up, we add Rudiger. So a lot of you may be looking and thinking, which Chelsea defender would you be owning? For me, it is still Rudiger. Game week 7 saw Azpilicueta pick up 2 assists, so he will be very popular this week. However, I do think once we have the likes of Reece James back, Christensen coming back into that Chelsea lineup, Rudiger is definitely the one who's going to play most minutes each and every game week. You could also go Christensen, and you could also go for Azpilicueta if you have the budget. I wouldn't be going near the likes of Alonso or Chilwell on that left-hand side. I think there's too much rotation to be down there. And then Reece James, potentially when he comes back from injury, could be another option. But for me, Rudiger would be the one that I would be picking if I was on my wildcard this week. Now next we add Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it looks like a pretty big at the back system for the Game Week 8 wildcard that I'm talking you through. Now it's undecided whether Trent is going to be back fit for Game Week 8. However, I think he will be. He was given a rest over the internationals because he's picked up a slight knock. Didn't play in that Game Week 7 fixture against Manchester City. So he does have a slight yellow flag at the moment, and it is worth bearing it in mind as time goes through the week. But I would be owning Trent on my wildcard unless we get confirmation that he is going to be out. The upcoming run of fixtures for Liverpool isn't as nice as we've had at the start of the season, but Trent is capable of getting returns against anyone. They are a good defensive side, especially with Van Dijk coming back into that team so far this season. So I would definitely be owning Trent, and this is a big at the back draft, but I would definitely be considering owning all 3 of these guys because I think there's a lot of points in those clean sheets for these 3 teams so far this season. However, the big at the back doesn't quite stop there because we add Ruben Dias as a double Manchester City defensive double up with Cancelo. So far this season, I've spoken about Manchester City being a very good defensive team. Now, last week, there were a lot of double Chelsea defence, but I think because of the amount of rotation there is there, although there may be slightly more attacking threat with some of those Chelsea defenders compared to the likes of Ruben Dias plays each and every game. So I think you will make up the points you may lose from an attacking threat with the consistency of starts you're going to be getting with Ruben Dias. They have a nice run of fixtures starting in Game Week 8 after that Liverpool fixture. So I do think there's a good chance of some clean sheets as well. And once maybe the United fixtures come back, you could swap him for Luke Shaw, for example. But at the moment, that Manchester City defence just looks unbreakable at times. So I would definitely be considering going for both Dias and Cancelo on my wildcard, including the likes of Trent as well, to make it a really big at the back with 4 premium defenders, as well as having Ramsdale, that Arsenal goalkeeper, in goal. So I think there's a lot of points to be had with those premium defences so far this season. Next up, to complete the defence, we have Livramento of Southampton. So finally, a cheap option in this defence. Now, this could also be Duffy of Brighton, seeing as we don't have Sanchez in goal. If you do want to have that Brighton defender, you could go for Duffy in here as well, who is a nice cheap option who can sit on your bench. However, I've gone with Livramento. Now, Southampton have played both a back 4 and a back 5 this season, and he's playing either right back or he's being pushed up to right wing back, as he did in the second half against Chelsea. penalty in game week 7, which saw him pick up an assist as he was fouled for the penalty that James Ward-Prowse did then convert. He showed to be a really good talent, and I think Southampton, although they haven't been that great defensively, Livramento has shown that he's got attacking threat, and then that occasional assist or clean sheet that he can add on top of that, then I think he's fine for 4.2. He is the 5th defender for you to own, and there is strength and depth throughout this squad, so he will sit on your bench each and every week, but it is a cheap option that I really like. As he showed in game week 7, he has that attacking threat. They've kept a few clean sheets as well, so 4.2 for Livramento is the final defender in this squad. First up in midfield is Rafinha. Now, the Leeds squad is a little bit injured at the moment, but Rafinha seems to be one that keeps ticking along and keeps sort of pushing forward and getting points while the rest of them are out injured or not performing as well. So Rafinha at 6.5 is definitely a midfielder that I would continue to want to own on Wildcard. They have a nice run of fixtures continuing from game week 8 for a nice few weeks after that as well. So 6.5 million, again, he's underpriced this season. He should have been priced at 7.5 million. He's consistently returned so far this season, and with that run of fixtures, I think he will continue to do so. So here's that first cheap budget midfield. Of course, there'll be a few more of those given the defense that we've got, but Rafinha is definitely the one that I would be picking out of the lot. Next up, we've added Wilfred Zaha. Now, Crystal Palace do have a nice run of fixtures starting from sort of game week 9 and 10 onwards. So Zaha is in here so he can sort of be that rotation player for the next couple of weeks, but then come in when they have a really nice run of fixtures. He's looked very dangerous combining with Benteke and Gallagher in that Crystal Palace midfield, and he's also likely to be on penalties for Crystal Palace as well. So I think at 6.9 million, although he's slightly more than Rafinha, he offers a really nice differential for this upcoming run of Crystal Palace fixtures, and because they play no Europe, nothing like that. He plays each and every week. He is a good goal threat, and with Edouard up top as well, there is that goal threat more than we've seen from Crystal Palace teams in the past, and Zaha is of course going to be involved when they get forward. So a bit of a differential. There are others that we'll talk about that you could go with, but with the likes of Saka potentially being injured, it's why I've gone with Zaha instead. Now, next up, we have Mo Salah. Now, with 12.6 million, he is the most essential player to own in FPL this season as a premium. We saw both Lukaku and Ronaldo blank in game week 7, and at the time of recording, I don't know whether Salah has returned, but he is the most consistent returning FPL point scorer, whether he scores against Manchester City or not. He's a great captaincy option for you each and every week. I don't want to go into too much detail, but if you are wildcarding this week, despite maybe having a slightly more difficult run of fixtures now compared to how they started the season, Salah has to be the one that is in your team this week. So 12.6 million, get him in your wildcard team no matter what else you have to do to fit him in. Now, 4.4 million, we've gone with Brownhill. So he's the cheapest starting midfield option. There are no other 4.4 midfielders that are starting, so he could be upgraded. You could go for the likes of Douglas Luiz, who's up at 4.6 million, would be the other one. If you do have that point spare, it's probably worth it because he is playing slightly more advanced. He's getting a few more assists than Brownhill, but Brownhill 4.4, he can sit probably last on your bench once we go through all of this. So just save that extra 0.2 and invest it elsewhere in the squad, and then you can bench Brownhill every week because this squad, as I've mentioned, does have really good depth and a really good strength on that bench. So Brownhill is just there to be a bench for it if you occasionally ever have to go that deep into your bench. Now, finally, we've got Smith Rowe at 5.3 million. So as I mentioned with Zaha, at Arsenal, Saka is definitely the midfield option that stands out for me. However, he did pick up an injury in game week 7, so I've had to downgrade to Smith Rowe. Now, if it turns out that we do have him back for game week 8 and he is going to be fit, then I would likely do Zaha downgraded to the likes of Saka, and then do Smith Rowe upgraded to the likes of Doucouré or Townsend or Gray at Everton. So that would be the switch I'd make, or you could even go Gallagher of Crystal Palace as well. So Smith Rowe to Gallagher and then Zaha to Saka would probably be the duo that I prefer. But if we have an injury news on Saka that he's not going to be back for a few weeks, then I'd go with Smith Rowe and Zaha as the combination. Now, into the forward line, the first one we've got is Lukaku. Now, Lukaku was very unlucky not to get any returns in game week 7 against Southampton. They did score 3 times. He hit the post. He had an offside goal. I still think he's really valuable to own. I think with the upcoming fixtures, he should be a good captaincy option when you don't want to captain Salah, but good for points no matter what. It also saves you a little bit of money when not going for the likes of Ronaldo. Ronaldo was benched in game week 7, which means I think he should be good to start in the next few weeks, but saving that money and investing it elsewhere, I think Lukaku would be the one that I'd go for. Next up, we have Antonio, who is up again to 8 million. Now, the West Ham fixtures are slightly more difficult, which is why I've got just Antonio in this team and not Benrahma as well. But Antonio is performing and proving to provide points at the same level that the likes of Lukaku, Salah and all the other premiums are performing, yet he's so much cheaper than them. I can't emphasize enough how important having Antonio on your wildcard is. If he gets injured, then great, he's so highly owned already, but having Antonio because he ticks along, he's the main goal threat for that West Ham team who do score a lot of goals at the moment. So 8 million, yes, he's had a price increase a lot, but make sure you continue to own him. Now, finally, on this wildcard draft, we have Jimenez in at 7.5 million. So the Wolves forward has picked up 2 assists and a goal in the past 2 weeks. So finally finding that form in front of goal. He's, it's great to see him getting back amongst the points after that injury that he had last season. Wolves have missed him. Him and Hwang Hee-chan have really seemed to have started a partnership as we saw in Game Week 7. So Jimenez is the forward that completes the lineup for this wildcard draft for Game Week 8. Now, this is the starting team, the 15, but let's have a look about exactly how I would line up if I played this for Game Week 8. So this would be how the team would line up. So we have Ramsdale, of course, in goal with a nice fixture at home to Crystal Palace. Diaz, Rudiger, Cancelo, Trent, all with nice fixtures. They have a good fixture run starting now. Smith Rowe starts with Salah and Rafinha, and then Jimenez, Lukaku, Antonio, of course, will start each and every game week for you. Now on the bench, at the moment, we have Zaha, who is away to Arsenal. Now, because I've got Ramsdale in goal and I've got Smith Rowe as well, I've gone with Zaha on the bench. Now, you could start him over Smith Rowe and then you're playing him against Ramsdale, for example. But this 4-3-3 does allow you to have that really good strength and depth, as you can see there with Zaha and Livramento, whilst having such an incredible starting 11 with that amazing defence that we've got there that I think will really provide dividends and really return some good FPL points for you, as well as that great midfield with Salah, Smith Rowe and Rafinha, and then having the ability to rotate with Zaha depending on which of those 3 cheaper midfielders have the best fixture, and then a forward line which I think has a lot of points potential in it as well. So that's the team. I'd probably captain Salah with Lukaku as vice captain, but I hope you have found this video useful. If you have, of course, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It really does help it grow. But good luck in Game Week 8. Enjoy the international break, everyone. There'll be plenty more videos to come. So if you have enjoyed, like and subscribe, but I will see you all very soon.